So this isn't usually the type of video I make on this channel. I was thinking about putting it on the secondary channel, but I was like, no, I want to get it to a bigger audience because this is a very important and powerful character to me in, throughout my whole life. This isn't something that, was just a more recent thing. Like there's childhood nostalgia attached to this. So I wanted it to get to a bigger audience and just share, my memories essentially. I'm of course talking about Kevin Conroy, which at first glance, that name might not really resonate with you, but he was essentially the voice of Batman for a multitude of projects and series, films, video games. So I feel like it does tie into this channel quite a bit. Kevin Conroy has passed away today on November 11th. It's being reported by friends and family members. And I just want to talk about my experiences with Kevin Conroy's work because I don't know, like I feel like he's impacted my life in a huge way. And I guess I didn't necessarily realize it until I actually thought about it and thought about all the projects that I loved with him, because this spans for literally decades of my life. I was first introduced to Kevin Conroy with Batman the Animated Series, which used to come on Fox. And, I was probably 9-10 years old. And I remember we were in between moving places. The rent was up on our apartment, and the new place we were moving to wasn't quite ready yet. So it was me, my father, and my mother. And we ended up moving in with my grandparents in the same house that they still have today. Granted, it does have some upgrades done to it. And I remember I would come home from school and it would start to get dark outside because it was daylight savings. And that meant that Batman, the animated series, was coming on Fox. And I absolutely loved that show. I still love that show. I have the Blu-ray set. I did an unboxing of a bunch of Batman, the animated series toys that I bought over on the secondary channel. I have them up right over here. I'm looking at them, as I glance over making this video. And that show was just absolutely amazing to me. I loved that show as a child, and I loved that show as an adult because it's withstood the test of time. There's dark subject matter in it. There's a lot of dark things within that show that really a lot of cartoons weren't really doing at that point in time. And of course, you can't have Batman without a Batman voice. And Kevin Conroy was just, he was the voice of Batman. I had been a Batman fan, pretty much my whole life before they got into the, Marvel started like crapping out movies all the time. You didn't really have that sort of stuff with superheroes, and the Batman films were absolutely fantastic. But this animated series was just such a great bridge between, kids and adults who were fans of Batman. Of course, it was a huge success, absolutely massive success. And it actually, had films done with it. They did a full animated film called Batman Mask of the Phantasm, which is a freaking awesome movie. And once again, I have a funny story with that because obviously my Batman fandom was at a high pitch. And I remember there was a movie store down the street from my grandparents' house. And I was like, Ma, we got to go. I want to rent this movie. I want to see it. Actually, it was a theatrical release too. Like that's how big this was. And I used to rent a lot of crappy video games from the store, like Shaq Fu. I remember renting Shaq Fu from there. But we went and we rented Batman Mask of the Phantasm. I went into the bedroom that my parents were staying in, which is a small bedroom. It had a TV and a VCR in there. I watched about 10 minutes of that and I turned it off because I was so scared. I was watching it in the dark. I was so scared of the Phantasm when the Phantasm was like, I want you. Like talking about dying and stuff and killing people in a children's animated cartoon. I was like, wow, I'm not dealing with this. And I actually didn't watch that movie in its entirety till like 5-6 years ago. And then when I watched it, I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. This is right up there with me for like the Keaton films, like the peak of Batman for me was, Batman Returns, Batman Forever. I think Batman Forever is a really good movie. I like the latest Batman film, the Christian Bale stuff. It's kind of hit or miss for me. Like, get a throat lozenge, son of a bitch. But, it was just so good. It was so good. It was so unlike what a lot of other cartoons were doing because it bridged that gap between like children's content and adult sort of content. And then, of course, beyond just that stuff, you know, decades later, you have the Batman video games, the Arkham games, you know, Arkham City, Arkham, Origins, Arkham Asylum, Arkham Knight, which were voiced by Kevin Conroy. Imagine playing those games without hearing that iconic voice. You know, Arkham City is a game that's in my top 10 games of all time. I have played that game on a multitude of platforms. I've beaten that game on a multitude of platforms. I'm actually playing it again on the Steam Deck, but that game is just so excellent. You know, it's excellence to me. It's the characters, the story, the writing, the atmosphere, the gameplay. Like, it still feels like an extremely modern game that just came out. And it would have been nothing without Kevin Conroy voicing Batman, because you got those kids that used to watch the animated series during its heyday who are now adults, you know, who have a bit of disposable income, and hearing that voice and hearing him talk and reprise his role as Batman, it just felt right. And it really just, it added in to the whole atmosphere of the game. And like, I don't know, man, it sucks. It sucks that he had an illness and he's no longer with us, because he was a big part of my life. And like, you don't really realize it. You know, I sometimes question why people get so attached to entertainers, and when entertainers pass away, you know, why they get, you know, all in a tizzy. But I think the older I get, the more I kind of get it, because, you know, it's important parts of your life. You know, we have entertainment as a way to escape the monotony, the grind, the BS that goes on in our own lives. You know, that's why entertainment is such a popular medium, because life sucks at the end of the day. You know, it's full of tragedy, problems, chaos, this, that, and the other. And with entertainment, it's your escape, you know, whatever that form of entertainment may be. It's your escape from essentially the real world. And, you know, Kevin Conroy was an escape for me. He was an escape for me as a child. He was an escape for me as an adult. And to see him pass away, and to really think about the impact that he had throughout so much of my life, you know, it sucks, man. Getting older sucks when you start to see your childhood heroes die. Father Time gets us all, unfortunately. But Kevin Conroy, rest in peace. You were an iconic person. You are an iconic person. You did so much for the Batman character. It's insane. It's insane. You are just as important to Batman as Adam West, as you know, Michael Keaton, as Christian Bale, as Val Kilmer, as any iteration of Batman. You are just as important, if not potentially more important, because you bridged so many different areas of entertainment, you know, film, television, video games. Like, Godspeed, man. I'm going to watch Mask of the Phantasm for the rest of the day while playing some Arkham City on my Steam Deck. Godspeed, Kevin Conroy. You will be missed.